I'm sitting out in front of AP house to confront him. Today, I'm facing my wife's affair partner. 3 months ago, I caught them and questioned her about the affair. She apologized excessively and told me she still wanted to be with me, that she wanted to salvage our marriage, that she wanted to go to therapy and so on. We've gone to couples and individual therapy. She said all the right things outwardly. She loves me and only me. She wants to solve things. She doesn't want a divorce and so on. She granted me access to her phone but warned me not to go through it too closely. She vows on her life that she's on the right track to restoring our damaged trust. But she's still seeing him. I discovered it and kept it to myself. I want to serve her divorce papers tomorrow, but before I'll confront her AP to find out what other falsehoods she's been telling me. I'm sure they've chatted on the phone a dozen times since I informed her she had to go no contact. She insists she hasn't spoken to him, but the phone records don't lie. They text almost every day. She's definitely deleting them since I haven't seen them on her phone. But she doesn't realize that deleting them on her phone doesn't mean they're gone from her iPad. So I'm sitting in a vehicle outside his home right now, waiting for him or his wife to depart for work. If he goes, I'm going to follow him to his workplace and confront him there. If she doesn't leave first, I'm going to knock on his door. I'll begin with the previous night. I arrived home from work, prepared supper, and sat down to eat. My wife inquired about my day. Uneventful, I reasoned. That was all there was to it. We ate, played with the kids, and put them to bed as if nothing had happened. She sat in our bedroom with me to watch TV and said nothing. For around 2 hours. Finally, after our concerts had concluded, she spoke. I'm going to bed, she says. That was the end of it. There is no conflict. There is no debate. Nothing. She went to bed. And I remained up for a couple of hours playing video games before going to bed myself. I slept like a slug and awoke around 5:00 a.m. I wanted to serve her today since we had a marital therapy session during the lunch hour. I had previously told our therapist what I planned to do, so when we sat down and began the session, I didn't waste any time. I spoke with AP yesterday, I said. Yeah, I spoke to him as well, she says. Yeah, I know, I say. I don't get it, she says. What makes you think you'd go talk to him? Because I wanted answers to certain questions I had, and you weren't being truthful with me, I said. Oh yeah? She says. So, what did he say to you? Honey, he sold you down the river, I said. What does it mean, she asks. He told me everything about what you've been up to. The skulking around. The clandestine gatherings. Calls from the lovey-dovey kind. Everything. She was taken aback. Did he tell you? Yeah, everything, I said. I then proceeded to enumerate all of the facts I already knew about their messages, calls, meetings, dates, hours, and so on. She began to. It's evident to me that although you've been telling me one thing, your actions tell an entirely different tale. So I'm finished. What do you mean you're done? She asks. I want a divorce, I say as I deliver her the divorce paperwork. She peered at the papers as if it were a deadly snake in her hands. She then sought assistance from the therapist. How can I repair this? She asks. I'm not looking for a divorce. I'm looking for you. I want to live our lives. I'd want to remain. Do you see where it's coming from? Says the therapist. When your words and actions present contradictory tales, you always trust your actions. It's not the words. Your actions have told me all I need to know, I say. How can we go from here without arguing, hatred, or dragging our children through the mud? The rest of the meeting went off without a hitch. On both sides, there were many tears. I emphasize how betrayed and outraged I am that she would carry on this affair behind my back, thinking of me as the lovely who would never find out. She sobbed because her whole life, as she knows it, is coming to an end. I informed her that I had shut off her money supply and that she could hire a divorce counsel with half of what we had. I informed her she couldn't reside in our house any longer. She'll have to stay with family or friends. I told her I was done and that there was no way we could reconcile. She sobbed even more. As we went out of the appointment, she grabbed my hand and made one more desperate attempt to win my forgiveness. I yanked my hand away and informed her flatly that I was done with her and didn't want her in my life anymore. She sobbed as she sank to the ground. I stepped out the door and walked away from her. I contacted AP wife and left a message as I drove away from the therapist's office saying, I really need to talk with you. Please call me back as soon as possible. I immediately phoned my attorney and advised her to submit the papers, but to keep the TRO on wait until things became really bad. After I departed, my wife phoned and texted me many times. I let them go to VM without listening to them. As I drove to her parents' home, I felt dead within. My phone rang just as I was about to step in. It was AP wife who returned my call. He'd said nothing to her. I told her I needed to meet with her in person, and could we meet in an hour? We agreed on a location and time after she said yes. I went straight to her parents' place and told them everything. Her mother instantly burst into tears. Her father sat there, expressionless. I told him that I loved her and tried to make it work, but that I couldn't stand by while she cheated on me behind my back. They were so disturbed that it was difficult to judge their emotions. I informed them that I would not disparage her or broadcast the facts about our divorce around our friends and family, but that they needed to know why we were divorcing. I told them that I don't expect them to support me in this, and that I, for one, want them to support her because she'll need it. This everything comes back to my children. If she can't afford a nice place to live, I don't want my kids to spend their time with her in filth. Her parents can and will financially support her. I told them I love them and will miss our friendship. Before I departed, her father and I exchanged handshakes, and I embraced her mother. Then I drove to the rendezvous point to meet AP wife. I'm now sitting in my vehicle, waiting for her to arrive. I want to inform her, show her the video if necessary, and let her decide how to continue from there. I will be there to provide emotional support if she needs it. Nobody should have to deal with this alone. So that was my day. I still need to meet with AP wife, pick up my kids from school, and change my home locks. I had a security system installed at home, so if she decides to steal or destroy anything, it will be captured on film. I'm not too concerned since she is aware of it as well. There will be more. Story 2. Found my husband cheating on our first vacation. My husband, 31 male, and I, 28 female, have been married for 4 years and have been together for 7 years. We didn't get to travel on our honeymoon or have a trip just the two of us. We traveled to Mexico to finally relax and enjoy ourselves. I got drunk AF last night and woke up feeling bad. I really struggled today. Despite keeping my together and participating in all of the things we had planned, rafting, kayaking, etc., zip lines, aquatic activities. When we arrived in our hotel about midnight, he was ready to party and go out. As you would expect, I spent the day suffering from a tequila/wine/beer hangover, and all I wanted to do was have and sleep. I told him I was going to take a 4 to 5 minute sleep to recuperate, and then we could go out. He said he was weary and that I could remain in the room while he slept for an hour. I fell asleep as soon as my head struck the pillow and woke up about 2:35 a.m. He wasn't in our room, and I texted and phoned him but had no response, so I walked outside to look for him. I did find him, and how did I discover him? He was among what seemed to be a bunch of couples, and he was drunkenly embracing, laughing, and kissing another female. I became so angry that I just stepped in front of him, said hello, and began walking away, knowing that if I said anything more or witnessed that situation for another 30 seconds, I would start a fight with both the girl and him. He didn't follow me or try to locate me. He simply stood there. It's been 2 hours. Could someone please advise me on how to continue with this? I'm so angry right now that I can't think straight. Update. He awoke and has been hunting for me all around. He's been messaging me, wanting to know what happened, that he can't recall. I merely responded to let him know I was alive and well, and that he should remember what he did the night before. I reserved a room at the hotel next door to where we were staying. I signed a statement stating that I was leaving the hotel for personal reasons and took photographs of the room before leaving to prove that I did not cause any property damage. The only thing left for me to do is alter my trip and begin arranging on how to address the matter when I get home. Update 2. God's designs are flawless. I met a yoga/meditation practitioner who advised me to withdraw completely from the outside world. The last 3 days have been filled with deep connection with my inner self, discovery, meditation, and tranquility. Everything occurs for a purpose, as far as I can tell. When I return home, I will be completely calm, prepared, and in command of whatever life throws at me.